Hello, everybody, and welcome to Social Media for Business. This recording is brought to you on behalf of the Mobridge Chamber of Commerce and KK Bold. It was originally presented and recorded on June 18th, 2014. So the data and tips and tricks there within are, of course, relatable to June 18th, 2014. My name is Stephanie. I'm the social media director here at KK Bold. KK Bold is a full-service marketing agency with offices in Minot, Las Vegas, and Bismarck, North Dakota. I'm joining you from Bismarck, North Dakota in this beautiful day, summer day. It's great outside. Hopefully, wherever you're watching, you're all settled in. This is going to be a 37 to 40-minute presentation, and it's mostly going to be about strategy, about social media for business. We're going to talk about tips and trends. We're going to talk about overall views and, of course, everything as it relates to Mobridge, South Dakota. If you've never been to Mobridge, South Dakota, never heard of Mobridge, South Dakota, do yourself a Google search and go find it. Beautiful city. North, in the northern part of South Dakota, north central part of South Dakota. Beautiful, beautiful lake. Oahe is where many people travel to visit. And of course, Mobridge is right there. A little bit about KK Bold. We are, like I said, a full-service marketing agency with about 35 employees across those 3 offices. Talented in industries like casino marketing, education, travel and tourism, and everything in between. You can check out some of my team at kkbold.com. Read the blog. I'd appreciate it if you did that, since that's part of my job description. But today I am presenting, of course, on social media for small business, a little bit about me. I currently manage about 56 pages. Of course, that is for clients anywhere from day-to-day management to just simple strategy to following the insights and consulting on what to do next. Of course, there's 22 Twitter handles that come along with that, and 10 really great YouTube channels that we're using to inspire action and make the rest of our marketing really pop out. Now, the reason why we're doing this today is to make an impact on what our small businesses are doing in Mobridge. And, you know, the biggest part about social media is that it doesn't have any boundaries. So I should keep track of it, but I don't. But I'm pretty sure that I have at least reached or engaged 90% of the country on one or more of the social media tools with 8 million impressions. 8 million is probably pretty good when you're considering those are unpaid impressions, and those are from January 2014 to May 31, 2014. I'm pretty proud of that number, which has led, of course, to 3.7 million redirects, some referrals, some page views on internet websites for our clients. So that is me in a nutshell. You can find me on Twitter at @BoldStephanie. If you have questions about the presentation today or need a social media question answered, go ahead and tweet me, follow me, and I'll follow you back. Let me know who you are. Tell me a little bit about your business. So, everything we do here at KK Bold is a little bit bold. What is bold? You can grab the T-Rex there with his little arms, deciding what is bold. Everything in marketing your business is going to come down to a couple choices that you're going to have to make. You're going to have to consider a lot of options. Like we said before, today we're talking about the digital side, the social media side of marketing your business. The biggest part about all of that is to make sure that you have a healthy, well-rounded marketing plan in place, and you're not using just online or social media as your main focus or feature. Now, if your business is only online, you might consider a little bit heavier percentage of your time and money spent in that category. However, there are a lot of options. Make sure you're considering those in a smart and well-planned way. The other part about marketing your business, of course, that crosses over into social media and digital media is to evaluate and update. There are a lot of things happening out there, and according to a latest Nielsen study, is that internet users are spending more time on social media than any other type of site. Now, I think if we think about ourselves, we would also agree. But then when we look at any of the other sites or a categorized site, there are a heck of a lot of social media sites out there. What's also interesting about marketing your business and using social media to do so is that today's consumer is more connected than ever. Think about yourself. In the last 6 minutes, you've probably picked up your phone at least once, maybe even twice, and checked it out. Scrolling through the latest Facebook updates, Twitter feeds, subscribe videos on YouTube, and all of that stuff. Essentially, what's happening is we have more access with more brands and a deeper engagement than any other time in history. And of course, most of that is due to technology, but that also has to do with the fact that our consumers are turning to social media, and that's influencing our purchasing decisions. About 74% is the latest number. And then, of course, we can't forget our friends who are also influencing us. That number is a little bit higher. About 81% of our friends' posts on social media are helping make a purchasing decision. So, when we're thinking about social media, we need to be thinking about business and that it's out there. I spend a lot of time with my clients trying to help them understand the reasons why we use social media. I think there's 3 major reasons. Now, of course, there are a lot of little reasons and a lot of ways that these are branching off, but branding, two-way communication, and of course, a way to increase sales is my top 3 that I'm using for my clients. Now, of course, branding is one of the most important things that we can do in business. Why that's important is because people are looking for the personality behind your business. What are they doing? What are they saying? Who are they interacting with? What do they treat their consumers like online? Are they responding to any comments, negative or positive? What does that brand really say to me? What does it say to my friends? So on and so forth. The two-way communication part is important. You know, this is the first time that we've been able to extend that customer service relationship. Now, it's not the only part of customer service. Of course, we're still going to have to keep our reps on the phone and people replying via emails and things like that to get the job done. But a lot of people are going straight to their brand or product's Facebook page in order to share something that went right or share something that went wrong, and they expect an answer, or at least a thank you for that piece of content. And of course, sales. That's what it all boils down to, right, folks? Whether you're online or you have a traditional business, social media should be a form of traffic, whether it be online traffic or foot traffic in the door. So keep those things in mind when you are planning your social media strategy. Now, what should we look at in this great wide world of social media? There are hundreds of channels, millions of consumers looking for a product, potentially like yours, and there's a lot of changes that are coming along the way. The biggest thing that we cannot do is get stuck in the ways that it used to work, because there are always going to be changes. And the changes are good, hopefully, or they will go back to the way that they were. And we need to make sure that we're moving with them, because the folks who are using these channels they don't have to deal with the business side of it, okay? They just have to be the consumers of that media. and they're going to move along with it. They're going to find out what they need to do to get the most out of the certain channel that they're using. So the biggest part here is to expect those changes and move with them, hopefully being flexible and as quickly as possible. Here's a quick little look at what happens in 60 seconds on some of our major online or digital, shall we say, aspects. Facebook. That's 41,000 posts every second, 1.8 million likes, and 350 gigs of data that are uploaded. That is a lot. There's only so much room, folks. So if you're going to get your stuff out there and get your posts out there and market your business, it's going to need to be good. As far as YouTube is concerned, look at that, 72 hours every 60 seconds of video that's uploaded. Not to mention Apple over there. This is just one of the mediums that folks can go and download their music tracks. 15,000 tracks in 60 seconds. Not to mention those 3,600 photos every second. I'm betting that number is somewhere near 10,000 as Instagram increases its popularity across those mobile users. Pinterest also becoming a little bit more active. This graph shows 11,000 users. I've seen some more recent data from January 2014 that is pushing that number into 20,000 users every 60 seconds. And then LinkedIn, another big one for the business folks, 11,000 professional searches. So not only are they featuring the posts and content that's uploaded to that site, but they're also featuring on those searches, the professional searches for folks who are looking for others who can help them do something. And then, of course, rounding it out is Twitter, right over there, about 8, 9 o'clock on the wheel. 278,000 tweets in 60 seconds. There's a lot of stuff happening out there, so make sure that your strategy is solid. You know what you're doing, and you're ready to dive in and meet your consumers where they live, or their potential consumers where they live. So here is just a quick look. This is a nice graphic that was first done by Brian Solis. If you do not know who he is, write that down and Google him. He would be one of the industry leaders and people that I follow as far as what he is looking at for trends and social media needs. The entire time we're talking about social media, I need you to remember what is at the middle of this. Now, you can be your consumers, your potential consumers, and the people that are around you. That is who is in the middle. They're listening, they're adapting, and they're learning, and they're using a lot of channels to do that. So let's go ahead and look at up here in the brand and community part of social media. We're going to see a lot of folks in the social network. You recognize a lot of those names. Some of them may have even been acquired by other businesses, brands changed, or simply crashed since the time of this making of this graph. Social networks, these are where the folks are hanging out with their friends or meeting new friends, sharing content that their friends like, getting involved in some intense debates or leaving comments, so on and so forth. Over here, we're going to find more of the social marketplace. Now, these are the people that are looking for that specific service. These have a purpose. And mostly, I'm going to fill a need or fill a want using the great and the fantastic Etsy, Living Socials, and of course Groupon, and a relatively new one in this category, Kickstarter. Look some of these up if you do not know what they are. They're a good one. And then our social streams, the things that keep everything moving. Of course, Twitter is in that. Here we take a look at more of the marketing side. This is the development and the business and the discussions and the forums. All great places to simply listen for what's being said about your business, what's being said about you, what's being said about your industry, and how it's moving. We can't forget about the entertainment side of the social media hemisphere, the world, the great wide world out there. Between video, music, live casting, which is something like what you're watching right now, it's all content that's being shared online that other people can comment on, question, get involved in, so on and so forth. Here's another one that's going to also be categorized in the listener. These are some of the tools that we can use to find out who's talking about us. And then, of course, sharing our pictures, which has become a data mine, a consumer-driven marketing tool right over here. So in all, as you can see, hundreds of options for us to use. The biggest part is finding out, digging in, and figuring out which ones are going to work for your industry, making a good plan, a good strategy, and then getting involved with your consumers. So let's take a look at social media for business as a whole. Now keep in mind, I have built this presentation for Mobridge, South Dakota. So I've picked our small business channels that are doing well, and I'm not saying that these channels don't work for big business because they certainly do, but it's just a little bit different of an approach. I've outlined Facebook, YouTube, Google+, Instagram, and Twitter as our top 5 channels. Now, I'm not saying that these are in specific order because, of course, they'll change depending on what industry you're in and what your goals are as far as social media is concerned. And then, of course, our LinkedIn, Yelp, TripAdvisor, Etsy, Tumblr, and Pinterest is going to round it out. A well-rounded decision or I keep on saying the word strategy, but it really goes back to what you want to get out of these channels. So let's take a look at Facebook. This is the big elephant in the room. This is still the #1 social media channel, and it probably will be for quite some time. It's aging, but it's still, everyone has already spent years developing their profiles and making their connections and getting in touch with their brands and consuming content and downloading the app. People are on Facebook and they are really here to stay. So I really wanted to talk about what's available as far as Facebook is concerned. There are 334 million unique users logging into Facebook every month. Now, of course, that's worldwide, but still, that is a big number, a potential number of folks that we can reach on that. They're spending about 8 hours and 47 minutes per month via browsers, mobile browsers, and their apps. 8 hours and 47 minutes a month. So they are there. They are here to stay. And when you talk about viewing it on a 3-inch screen on the mobile screen, that's a long time to be scrolling through. So they're interested and they're here. Here's a number then for more centralized to Mobridge area. In the United States, age 13 plus, there are 180 million users that have Facebook profiles. Of that, 460,000 of them are in South Dakota. And drilling down even further, I can tell you that there are 2,600 profiles that are in Mobridge, or 9 miles and closer to Mobridge. And if we expand it out to 50 miles, you're going to have about 6,200 people that are within your local area. I would consider that pretty local, especially in the rural areas of South Dakota and, of course, my home state of North Dakota. So they're there. They're looking for you. Data tells us that they are engaged. So we want to make sure that you're there providing content, getting in the conversation, and then, of course, listening to what they're saying about you. So what are other businesses using? Typically, they're using about 3 channels, including their website. I have to always include that. So they'll pick 2 other channels, Facebook being the primary one that we're seeing, and then Twitter being the other that they're seeing. Now, we'll get kind of more into the stats and the data on that, but 3 channels, a main website, and then 2 social media channels to reach out and be of service to their current customers and potential customers. Now, a lot of people ask me, Steph, does it work? And to that I say, well, what are you tracking? What are your goals? What do you have in place? And then, the other question on the other side of that is, what should I expect? Now, if your goals are to develop and drive traffic to your website, then of course you should probably be including easy clickable links into specific pages, landing pages, to find more information. If you're not, then I can't help you meet your goal. If you're trying to sell an item and you never talk about it, then of course social media or any form of marketing is probably not going to work for you. Your expectations at the rural level should be, anything from an engaged user, meaning that they comment, like, share, favorite, retweet, watch, subscribe, regram, or comment back on your Instagram posts. The engaged user is what you're trying to curate. So expect about 10 to 13%. That's what we're seeing across all of the social media channels on average. So if you have 1,000 users, you're going to see about 130 of those really active, really engaged with the content that you're putting out. If you're not seeing 13%, it might be a good time to step back and really look at what kind of content you're posting, who your audience is, and how you can increase those numbers. Now, when I say that you should have engaged users, the question and the situation changes if you're an online business or if you are a brick and mortar store or a service company. I always love to use a company out of Colton, South Dakota. If you're familiar with Colton, South Dakota, you'll know that it is in the southeast corner, and it is home to Philly Flair. Now, if I told you that there was a boutique in a town with less than 1,000 people in it, how many people do you think that they would have connected to their Facebook page? Probably, on the numbers that I gave you, probably 130 to maybe 200 people, right? It might surprise you then to go to facebook.com/Philly Flair. I have no affiliation with them. However, I love how they're using social media to market and improve their business. They have just over 500,000 likes on their Facebook page, and I just love watching the story. They're posting, anywhere from 2 to 5 to 7 times a day, and they're just getting incredible engagement through their likes and their shares and their comments. So there is no limitation to what Facebook can do. They have more people connected to their page than there are total profiles in the state of South Dakota. So your expectations can be very big, or the expectations can equally be as small. But the more people that you have engaged with your brand, of course, the better that your business should benefit. So let's move on and get a few tips and tricks for Facebook. I'm not using today as a very specific part. This is more like the strategy session, the well-rounded, here's what's out here, here's why you should use it, and a couple of stats there. And I'll follow it up with, we have a more dedicated tutorial for Facebook coming up. check our channel on YouTube if you haven't seen that already. If it's before that date, that'll be coming soon. So your tips and trips for Facebook, number one, is to just don't overwhelm yourself. As small business owners, we're already cleaning the bathrooms, making sure that inventory is out on the floor, and training a new employee to answer the phone. We are busy. The biggest part is to use the tools that are within Facebook or outside of Facebook, like Hootsuite or a scheduler of sort, to help you maintain and track the marketing activities that you're doing on Facebook. With the mobile devices, a lot of us are using that at night and checking it via our mobile phone, getting everything done in about 15 minutes a day on Facebook. So no, that's not creating the content, that's just managing a medium to a medium page. When I say medium for small business, I'm saying about 1,500 to 3,000 people as far as contacts and things that are coming in. You should also treat it as a marketing tool. And keep in mind that there are about 41,000 posts every day from businesses. So people have the potential of seeing 41,000 posts if they're connected to those, and there's only room for 700 of those in a newsfeed. If someone were to be scrolling through the newsfeed every single day, they can only possibly see 700 posts on Facebook. So be posting really great content, be posting special offers, and then of course just be a person on the other side of that business, because people like connecting with people, and we already know that. The third one is the tips and tricks is to use Facebook Insights. So many times I see new to Facebook users just going on and posting at whatever time of day, really long paragraph, 3-sentence posts, and they're just not seeing the results that they probably could be or should be. And I always say, go back to your insights. Who's your audience? What is that audience wanting? Why did they like your page in the first place? Are they sharing anything? What type of day are they logging in? Are they an engaged user, or are they kind of sluggish? They're not liking things, but they're still seeing it. How do you turn them into an engaged user? And of course, that all has to do with the EdgeRank algorithm to make sure that people are actually seeing your posts in their news feed and they're not getting drowned out by everything else. And then lastly, do what you do best. If you are really great at accounting, taking care of the books, or you are the best landscaper in town, social media may be more of a burden to you than it is to someone else in your company. So if you're willing to let that go over and you're willing to get a little bit of training on how you can easily, make it a part of your day, go ahead and do that, but never lose sight of why you're in business in the first place, because you're really good at something. So let's talk about then those other tools, YouTube and Google+. I put those at the top and together because folks aren't really quite sure of this YouTube business. They know that they watch videos themselves, they've seen ads, they've shared a video, they've probably interacted with a website who has YouTube or video integrated into that plan. But YouTube is that place that is the story is right in front of you visually. So often we are turned off by reading a 20-page book, but if it's in a video, we're going to watch it. So this is the place where you can tell your story visual. It's always been the most powerful medium. From the time that the television was broadcast to every living room in America, TV, television, video has always been the most powerful medium. So take advantage of that impact. YouTube is also the number 2 search engine with 1 billion active users per month. So don't miss out on any of those searches. And of course, we can't forget that Google owns it. So anytime we have any search engine optimization opportunities, we're totally going to take those. And then it's also used or a third reason why you should be using YouTube is that it certainly enhances your current marketing strategy. Hundreds and thousands of views are done every day on how-to videos. Chances are you've got a product or a service or a place to relax that can certainly be featured in a YouTube video. The best part about YouTube is that it doesn't need to be Hollywood produced. Now, I'm not saying that you should be going out there with a cell phone video camera every day, but a few of those behind the scenes are never bad to show a little bit more about your business and build the rapport, build the brand with a consumer who would be watching it on the YouTube channel. What we're seeing here is that users and viewers are watching about 45 to 90-second videos. Now, that's not a long time. So if you're still with me after 30 minutes, phew, we've done something right. What is even bigger is that 85% of those who start the video are dropping off after 15 seconds. So make sure that your first 15 seconds are incredibly inspiring, or that they're keeping everyone watching for what's going to happen at 20 to 25 seconds. So good content is still a key here. Next on the Google Plus train is that it's again owned by Google Plus. A couple of years ago, and actually just most recently, we didn't know if Google Plus was going to be a major player. And I'm not saying that it's a major player because it's still building its audience, but it is growing, and that's in part due to the fact that Google is enhancing their other tools like Google Places for business and turning them all into Google Plus. So your Hangouts, Google Places, Google for Business are all taking place from a Google Plus profile. If you're just starting social media and maybe you don't have a website, I would encourage you to look at Google Plus as one of your top places to use information, because if someone's going to search you, that's going to be the most beneficial for your page and your information to show up. Let's go back just 1 second before I lose my train of thought here on YouTube. In a 2014 report by Nielsen, as far as the digital consumer was concerned, almost 13 hours of video is consumed either on a mobile device or on a computer in a month. 13 hours. Now that's separate from the Netflix that we're watching. That's separate from the Vine videos and everything else that we can be consuming that are videos. This is 13 hours of YouTube content. So make sure that your brand and your business is out there as well. Skipping down to Instagram, that has an average monthly user of about I think they're up to 300 million. I should find that number. I will update that in the video. But they're seeing about 3 hours and 40 minutes being spent on Instagram. Of course, that's primarily a mobile app that is somewhere for people to share photos. We're seeing it as a younger audience, and we're seeing it go more into the fitness industries. We're seeing a lot of short videos come out of gyms and from fitness experts around the world. So Instagram, that is for our younger folks, but it's easy. It's easy to use. It's snapping a picture, adding a small caption, using some hashtags, and getting people involved there. It's not going to drive a lot of web traffic, but if that's not one of your goals, or you don't need that for your business to succeed, then Instagram might be for you. Next up is Twitter. Now, I told you that Instagram has an average monthly time spend of about 3 hours and 40 minutes. Twitter just is another 14 minutes up from that with 3 hours and 54 minutes per month. These are all 2014 numbers that are coming out there. So the data that was collected in the first quarter is what we're looking at there. Twitter in our area, Mobridge, South Dakota, Upper Midwest, I'm not going to say that it hasn't caught on, but the people that are in your demographic, you have to really, or who you're looking to target, you have to really make sure that you know who those people are and what they're using. Twitter is typically for that 18 and under crowd, could be creeping into that 21 and under, and that's just because their parents aren't on it yet. But parents are becoming much more savvy because they need to know what their kids are doing on those channels. And then it also kind of gaps out, and then we're looking at the 30 to 40 male is who is involved on Twitter. Most businesses are using Twitter as a influencer. They're getting involved in hashtag conversations. They're listening to what people are saying about them. They're connecting with their consumer via a live feed on their website. It's always much easier to grab your phone and update a website via a Twitter feed than it would be to go into the back end. My web developers are going to kill me for this, but to go into a back end and manually update it from there. There aren't a lot of CRMs out there that can make that all happen from a mobile phone. So we're really using it as an integration into the current marketing tools. And as far as, why are LinkedIn, Yelp, TripAdvisor, Etsy, and Tumblr and Pinterest in that bottom line? It's because those are the ones that are kind of peripheral. They make sense for certain industries, and they don't necessarily make sense for others. LinkedIn is the professional Facebook. That's the easiest way to look at it. They've seen about a 37% increase among users, but people are still only spending about 23 minutes per month. Now, if I were to look at what I'm seeing from my clients, a lot of folks are using it for job opportunities, positioning themselves as an industry leader, and then connecting, of course, with other people who can either help them achieve their business goals or, go the other direction and help them get a new job. So LinkedIn is important if you're a professional. The CPAs, the lawyers, those are the kind of folks that the marketing experts, find me, let's connect. Those are the kind of folks in more of the professional realm that are individuals in their industry that are going to LinkedIn. Great resource, though, however, for any professional or any business owner to get involved in. Yelp and TripAdvisor, and I guess I could kind of throw Foursquare, are kind of our location-based parts of the pie. Of course, those have to do with more of our eateries, any lodging, any travel and tourism destinations. That's where Yelp, TripAdvisor, and Foursquare, less and less Foursquare every day, are coming into play. And we talked about how consumers are using social media to make purchasing decisions. These two by far are indicators for what your business is going to be like. So if you have an active Yelp and TripAdvisor page with positive comments and people are viewing it, that's going to be a great asset for your business. Now, let's say that you personally haven't created a Yelp and a TripAdvisor for your business. I would go out on a limb and say there's a 50, well, maybe even a little bit more than 50, maybe a 70% chance that someone's already done that for you. It's a user-curated option, but you do have the ability to claim those pages and then, of course, stay in touch with any of the users that are using those channels to find more about your business or just see what other people are saying about it. Etsy, of course, is our, those are the crafters out there. They're getting active in Etsy. It's a really great community for the custom pieces. We've done a lot of business here with more of our small town crafters, our boutiques, people who have really interesting items for sale. Check out Etsy for sure. And then Tumblr and Pinterest, same train of thought. Tumblr and Pinterest are for our visuals. They're for sharing other content from around the web and putting it all into one place. Pinterest is seeing about 1 hour and 43 minutes per month via that. Now, a lot of people are using a mobile device to view that. So it's kind of a skewed number because it's driving a lot of web traffic for sure. And we do know that once people are involved in a brand in social media, they are more likely to purchase or buy or recommend that specific brand. But Pinterest hasn't yet figured out how to convert sales. So that's the perfect place for recipes and planning weddings and so on and so forth, getting advice on fashion and all of that kind of good stuff. So that is our primary small business social media channels. But if you're out there and you're using these, then you have to know that it's working. Here are some tools in no particular order. I use a combination of all of these on a daily basis. Google Analytics. If you have a website and you don't have Google Analytics set up, please get that done. That is going to give you a lot of indicators on your referral traffic, who your best traffic is, how long they're staying on your site, once they've come from a social media channel, and then, of course, your conversions if you're selling online, how many people have called after looking at a social media channel. All of that stuff is trackable, so make sure you're tracking it. Use Facebook Insights. We talked before about the value of using that data that is in there. If you want more information on Facebook Insights, be sure to look for the tutorial on Facebook 101. We'll go a little bit deeper into Facebook Insights, what we should be seeing, what are some benchmarks across industries, so on and so forth. Sales. Obviously, we want to see what's going to move the bottom line. Where are they coming from? Where did they hear it? Ask your customers when they walk in the door. If you're doing a good job on social media, they are going to say social media, because I can't tell you the last time that I watched a TV show and remembered a commercial. I just can't tell you. So, I can tell you though, if I commented, my friends commented, and we thought that it was a really great piece of content. We're also using Bitly. If you don't know what that is, look it up. It's a way to track your links and make them shorter. Back, of course, into your website, you can see when they clicked, what time of day they clicked, how long it took them to click. So if you publish something at 8 o'clock in the morning, it's going to show you when those clicks happened in days and in hours. Really powerful stuff there. Kind of a secondary backup to Facebook Insights. And then, of course, information for your Twitter, LinkedIn, blog feeds. So check out Bitly if you are driving a lot of website traffic. TweetReach is a great tool. They have a free portion. There is a paid portion as well. This is going to give you some in-depth data into your followers and, of course, how many people you're reaching with those tweets via retweet, favorites, and conversations that are happening in that medium. And then, of course, Sprout Social. I'm using Sprout Social a little bit more than Hootsuite these days as far as the analytics is concerned. It gives me a little bit better of a dashboard to review quickly and make decisions on what's going to happen next. So make sure that you know that your social media channels are working, because you don't want to be spending all of this time and not getting any results. Of course, if they're not getting results, then it's time to talk to me about your strategy. At this time is when I would tell you about questions. We're nearing the end. So if you have any questions, feel free to tweet me at BoldStephanie or send me an email, stephanie.sandstrom@kkbold.com, and I will get back to you. Or you can just leave your questions in the comments right here on this YouTube video. I do have a few questions that were submitted prior to this presentation, and I think they're kind of interesting, so I'm going to share them with you. I didn't necessarily touch on them because we can talk about them in depth now. But which social media platforms are best for specific types of businesses? Now, this is a very good question, because like I said before, most businesses, small businesses, are using 2 social media channels and a website as far as their digital strategy is concerned. I think that, we kind of touched on the Etsy and the Pinterest stuff, but Pinterest isn't probably going to work if you're a lawyer, unless you're posting legal advice, which I haven't seen anyone do really well. Um, Lawyers, I would, if you're in that kind of professional aspect of your career is, defined to that kind of things, I would definitely make sure that you are on Google Plus, just so that you are searchable. If you wanted to share any information about your firm, why people, should use your firm, or why you're the best lawyer in town, of course, seeing your face on camera is much better than reading 500, 700, 12,000 words. So sharing that information on Google Plus and YouTube, and then of course make sure that you have a profile on LinkedIn. Never hurts. LinkedIn, keeping it updated, it's more of a resource for yourself. So really look at what type of business that you're in. If you're in the service industry, use Facebook as a customer service tool. Use Google Plus as a part to find you. And then, of course, I would use YouTube if I had just a little bit of time. I would dedicate, about an hour a week, and I would put together a content plan that has something to do with how-tos. Now, keep in mind that if you give them the answer, are they going to hire you? Well, it's going to set you up to be the expert. So when something goes wrong because I can't get it done from the how-to video, I'm going to call you first. So keep that in mind. It never hurts to be helpful as far as social media is concerned. And then if there are any out there in tourism, you have a way to sell your business like no other year, decade, generation, century, with the likes of Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest. I mean, all of your users are there. And maybe it's not that you're active on all of those channels, but you have a call to action on the place where people can book those rooms or plan their destination, and let them share your content. Let your users be your voice out there across all of those channels. They know how to use it the best. So just make sure that you give them the opportunity to share that. And the last question is, when are the best times to post content to social media sites, and what kinds of posts and content get the best responses? Now, without saying that that answer differs for everyone, it really goes back to who your audience is, who's engaged, how long you've been, really molding or communicating with that audience. So find information via your Facebook Insights using Bitly links, TweetReach, and start planning and using the times of day that your consumer is already online. Of course, anything that's searchable never hurts, so keep the content fresh. But the best times to post now, if I were looking across all of the industries and all the clients that we serve, are your typical times where people are either in transit, at lunch, or home after the day is all finished. So we're seeing a kind of skew for all ages, to tell you the truth, toward that 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. range. We're seeing a little bit better engagement, and that's probably because people are finished with their day. They're just winding down, they're getting ready to go to bed, so on and so forth. They're looking through their feeds that they're connected to. And then, the next question is, what kind of posts or content is getting the best responses? And all I can say there is good content is getting the best responses. It's not a gimmick. It's not a marketing message in the form of a headline. It's good content. It's something that would mean something to you, and therefore it means something to your audience as well. As always, I'll be taking more questions, so make sure that you're leaving those for me, and we'll talk about what's next. The biggest part is that you need to keep going. If this was the first time that you've ever heard anything about these channels, take some time and learn about them, see if they're good for your business, or get a hold of a social media consultant. Feel free to call KK Bold. We can certainly help you out with that. And really use your resources. I spend about 2 hours a day, making sure that I'm on top of all of those channels. Things are changing on a daily and a weekly, a daily basis as far as how users are using the channels that they're connected to, how businesses are using it, and then what's next. So my resources go from Social Media Examiner. I think they have a great library of information that is right on, it's spot on, and they're always on top of it. So go check out Social Media Examiner. If you are new to Facebook or have questions about Facebook, they have their own set of resources for businesses. Go ahead and do a Google search and it'll take you back into Facebook for those resources. They always come out with the news releases and helpful information as soon as it goes live. And then, of course, Dan, Brian, and Mary are all individuals who are leading the way as far as trends are concerned and sharing their tips and tricks. So go find them. If you need any help with consulting or training or management, I would love to talk to you. You can find more about what work we've done with other clients, see who our clients are now, and I'd be happy to talk to you on the phone as well. Reach out to me, 701-258-3067, and hopefully you'll check out another video. Thanks so much for joining me for Social Media for Business. It was a pleasure having you, and enjoy the rest of your day.